About the two different ways to solve a quadratic equation, graphing and the quadratic formula. The first is graphing. Just turn to my notes. Okay, here we go. So the equation that we're going to be graphing is x squared plus 4x plus 3. And to start off by graphing, you're going to first find the axis of symmetry. And to find that, you use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. So we're just going to plug in our a, b, and c, and we get x equals negative 4 over 2 times 1, because there's like a hidden coefficient in front of the x. And when you solve it, you get negative 2 as our axis of symmetry. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to plug in negative 2 to find the y in our vertex. This is the x. Now we need to find the y. So you're going to plug in negative 2 for x. And then we get that y equals negative 1. So our vertex is negative 2 comma negative 1. After that, I'm just going to talk about minimum and maximum values. When you graph a quadratic equation, your parabola either looks like that or like that. This is called a minimum value, because it's pointing up. This is a maximum value because it's pointing down. Here we have a minimum value, and we know that because the coefficient a is positive. Next, what you want to do is you want to find the y-intercept. So to do that, you take your equation and you plug in 0 for the x. Once you do that, you find that y equals 3, which means that the y-intercept is 0, 3. Next, you're going to make a table of values, and we're going to use those points to plot the graph. You have an x and a y. And before you start, you want to plug in the middle point, which is going to be the vertex. And this is our vertex, negative 2. 1. The vertex is this point right here that the whole parabola sits on, and that's our basis for our table, because then you're going to find 2 points above and 2 points below. So you can choose negative 3, negative 4, and negative 1 and 0. The vertex is always going to be in the middle of your table. Then when you plug in the x values for x in your equation, you get y to be 3, 0, negative 1, 0, and 3. And before we start graphing, you'll notice that we have a kind of symmetric table, and that's because in a parabola, you get tables that look like this when the x's are different, but the y's are reflecting each other. When you're done, you're going to make your graph, and then you're going to plot the points. And once your points are plotted, you can draw your smooth line connecting all of them. And your parabola, or your graph, will look like that. And that's how you graph a quadratic equation.